edition of News Today, a series in which we discuss and briefly analyze the important news of the day. Let's have a look at today's main headlines. Punjab and Haryana High Court quashed the Haryana State Employment of Local Candidates Act of 2020. Directorate General of Foreign Trade predicts a remarkable surge in India's e-commerce exports. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana-Gramin completed 7 years. NASA successfully experiments deep space optical communications. Chinese scientists report world's first live birth of chimeric monkey in a stem cell breakthrough. A report titled "The State of the Cryosphere 2023 2 degrees is too high" was released by the International Cryosphere Climate Initiative. Starting with today's first news, the Punjab and Haryana High Court has quashed the Haryana State Employment of Local Candidates Act 2020. The High Court declared it unconstitutional and violative of Part 3 of the Constitution of India, which pertains to fundamental rights. The High Court also said that the Act violates constitutional morality, which refers to adherence to the fundamental principles of the Constitution. The High Court also said that the state cannot discriminate against individuals on the account of the fact that they do not belong to a certain state. Talking about the Haryana State Employment of Local Candidate Acts, it provided 75% reservation to locals in private sector jobs having monthly salary of less than Rs 30,000. Other states like Andhra Pradesh have also enacted similar acts. Having said this, now the question is whether reservation for locals of the state should be provided in the private sector. Let's take a look at some arguments in favor of such reservation. Employment on the basis of domicile in India doesn't violate the Article 15(1) because residence and place of birth are two distinct concepts. Also, reservations for locals can help in controlling the influx of a large number of migrants in the state competing for low-paid jobs. Moreover, local employees are more likely to spend their income locally, contributing to local economies. On the other hand, such reservations violate Article 14, 15 and 16, which provide the right to equality, and Article 19(5), which gives the right to freedom to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. Also, reservation for locals may push businesses to migrate due to lack of skilled workforce. Moreover, such reservations can fuel sons of the soil syndrome in other states as well. Moving on to the next news, the Directorate General of Foreign Trade predicted a remarkable surge in India's e-commerce exports. DGFT is attached office of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry responsible for administering laws regarding foreign trade. Now talking about e-commerce exports, they enable businesses to sell directly to consumers across the world. It helps businesses transcend boundaries and get access to a much larger pool of customers. Now the question is, what factors have been driving the growth of India's e-commerce exports? The growth can be attributed to the overall rise in global e-commerce exports, which are estimated to touch $2 trillion by the year 2025. Moreover, the product diversity and innovation and favorable policy ecosystem in India has helped the exports grow. Further, Indian entrepreneurs have been able to gauge the requirements of specific markets and offer customized products. About 90% of e-commerce exporters are small and medium-sized businesses. Given the significance of policy ecosystem, Government of India has been taking a number of initiatives to boost India's e-commerce exports. The Foreign Trade Policy of 2023 increased the value limit of exports through couriers from Rs 5 lakh to Rs 10 lakh per shipment. The import and export clearances of courier parcels was digitized in India through the launch of the Express Cargo Clearance System. Other steps include collaboration between India Post and ShipRocket to enhance e-commerce exports by leveraging India Post's extensive presence, and simplified regulatory framework for e-commerce exports of jewelry through courier mode. However, e-commerce exports in India still face some challenges like rapid digital transformation in e-commerce export field, complexity of customs process, lack of awareness about benefits of e-commerce exports, and banking issues, including slow speed of cross-border payments. In the next news, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana-Gramin completed its 7 years. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana-Gramin is a centrally sponsored scheme of the Ministry of Rural Development launched in the year 2016. It aims to provide pakka houses with basic amenities to all houseless households living in kacha and dilapidated houses by the year 2024. Since its launch, the scheme has made some notable achievements. Out of the targeted 2.95 crore houses, around 2.41 crore houses have been handed over, and around 1.5 lakh crore rupees have been given as central assistance in the last 4 years. Now let's take a look at the important features of the scheme. Under the scheme, beneficiaries are selected using the Socio-Economic Caste Census 2011, which is verified by the Gram Sabhas. The scheme provides financial assistance of 100% grant of Rs 1.2 lakh in plain areas and Rs 1.3 lakh in areas such as hilly and northeastern states, difficult areas, Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, integrated action plan districts, and left-wing extremism affected districts. The cost of the scheme is shared between the central and state governments in the ratio 60-40 in plain areas, 90-10 for two hill states Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand and Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. In other union territories, 100% share is borne by the central government. The scheme also converges with other schemes like LPG connections are provided under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme, and its implementation and monitoring are carried out through an end-to-end e-governance model using Awas Soft and Awas app. In our next news, NASA successfully experiments deep space optical communications. Deep space optical communications is a system that consists of a flight laser transceiver, a ground laser transmitter, and a ground laser receiver. It is NASA's first demonstration of optical communications beyond the Earth-Moon system. In optical communications, light is used to carry the signal instead of electrical current. The communication system is configured to send high bandwidth test data to Earth. The experiment aims to demonstrate data transmission rates 10 to 100 times higher than the state-of-the-art radio frequency systems used by spacecraft today. It was launched with Psyche spacecraft. Psyche mission of 2023 was launched to study a metal-rich asteroid, that is Psyche asteroid, located in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Asteroid Psyche is unique as it appears to be the exposed nickel-iron core of an early planet, one of the building blocks of our solar systems. Talking about the significance of deep space optical communications, it uses near-infrared light packs which facilitates higher rate of data transmission. It has high-definition imagery transmission and will enable human exploration of deep space like sending humans to Mars. Deep space starts just past the Moon's orbit and includes the solar system and beyond. Moving on, Chinese scientists have reported the world's first live birth of a chimeric monkey in a stem cell breakthrough. First of all, let's discuss what exactly is a chimera. Chimera is a single organism composed of cells of more than one distinct genotype. Chimeras can be natural. Animal kingdom has several examples of varying degrees of chimerism, including humans. For instance, the traces of the fetus's genetic material are observed in mother's tissues many years after childbirth, a phenomenon known as microchimerism. Chimeras can also be artificial. It can be done through stem cell transplant or bone marrow transplant. Coming back to the news, let's understand the process behind world's first live birth of a chimeric monkey. Researchers extracted the embryonic stem cells from 1 week old embryos and then modified the DNA in these cells to include a green fluorescent protein or GFP. These GFP marked embryonic stem cells were then injected into recipient embryos. After that, they were implanted into surrogate female monkeys which delivered offspring. This recent development is expected to have a number of applications, especially in the field of genetic and developmental biological studies. It can also help in fulfilling the growing demand of organs for transplantation, for example, through the use of animal heart valves. Now let's understand the major concepts involved in this breakthrough. Starting with embryonic stem cells, they are a type of stem cell. A stem cell is a cell with the unique ability to develop into specialized cell types in the body. Other major stem cells include tissue-specific stem cells, which can be multipotent or unipotent. These cells can only change into some cells. The next is induced pluripotent stem cells, which are lab-made stem cells that can change in any type of cell. Moving on, a report titled The State of the Cryosphere 2023, 2 degrees is too high was released by the International Cryosphere Climate Initiative. Now first let's discuss more about the concept of cryosphere and its role in the global climate. Cryosphere is the frozen part of the planet and includes snow and ice on land, ice caps, glaciers, permafrost and sea ice. It plays an important role in the global climate. It helps in maintaining the Earth's energy budget as the cryosphere has high albedo, which helps in regulating Earth's temperature. Albedo here is the fraction of light that a surface reflects. The cryosphere is also crucial for carbon storage. Any disturbances to the permafrost can lead to more carbon emissions into the atmosphere as it has trapped tons of carbon inside its soil. Moreover, melting ice strengthens extreme weather events and gives rise to sea levels across the globe. Also, the cryosphere is an important source of water. It contains 80% of the world's fresh water in the form of glaciers and ice sheets. Coming back to the report, let's take a look at its key findings. The report has predicted that nearly all tropical glaciers, most mid-latitude glaciers, and polar regions will disappear even if the temperature rises by 2 degrees Celsius. As per the report, Himalayas are expected to lose 50% of today's ice if global average temperature touch 2 degrees Celsius. Also, the report observes that the last decade has witnessed the 7 worst years of ice loss. Now, these findings highlight the importance of protecting the cryosphere. Notably, India has taken a number of initiatives to protect cryosphere, like the National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem and establishing a Center for Himalayan Glaciology in Wadia Institute. Let's have a look at today's place in news, which is the country Dominica with the capital Roseau. It is in news because Dominica has announced to create world's first sperm whale reserve. Dominica is an island country of Lesser Antilles in Eastern Caribbean Sea. Lesser Antilles is a long arc of small islands in the Caribbean Sea. It lies between the Guadeloupe and Marie-Galante in the north and Martinique in the south. Let's take a look at the geographical features of the country. The island is of volcanic formation and has a number of active volcanoes, including fumaroles. It has a boiling lake, which is the second largest hot spring lake in the world. Its highest point is Mount Mont Diablotins and the river Leyu flows through the island. As we conclude today's main news, let's go through some quick updates. The Ministry of Ayush and the World Health Organization have signed the Traditional and Complementary Medicine Project Collaboration Agreement. This is the third project collaboration agreement signed by the Ministry of Ayush with WHO. Sea buckthorn fruit from Ladakh has been awarded a geographical indication tag. It is the fourth GI tag in Ladakh after apricot pashmina and Ladakhi wood carving. Sea buckthorn is a plant found throughout Europe and Asia. Unsafe and unprofessional conduct by Chinese warship in international waters of Japan's exclusive economic zone was allegedly reported by Australia. Exclusive economic zone is an area of the ocean beyond and adjacent to its territorial sea that extends seaward up to 200 nautical miles from its baseline. Government approved 27 manufacturers under Production Linked Incentive 2.0 scheme for IT hardware. The objective of the scheme is to provide financial incentives to boost domestic manufacturing and attract large investments in the value chain. In a new study, researchers have explored how paramutations work. Paramutations are unusual mutations that can protect humans against viruses. European Union allows the use of glyphosate for 10 more years. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in herbicides. The restricted use of glyphosate is allowed in India. Experts have noticed that shrinking mudflat ecosystem of Kardalundi River is impacting Kardalundi Valikunnu Community Reserve in Kerala. Community Reserve is a protected area category which was first introduced through the Wildlife Protection Amendment Act of 2002. New tools are emerging for cutting plastic pollution such as plastic credits, plastic offsetting, and plastic neutrality. Before we go, it's time to put your knowledge to the test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this edition of News Today. To get the answers to today's quiz and to download the PDF of News Today, make sure to check out the links in the description below.